Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the heart of British motorsport. Welcome to Donington Park. Last time out at Watkins Glen, we celebrated a monumental milestone, 200 races of BiS history, but there is no time to dwell on the past. The dust hasn't even settled from the Glen, and we are already diving straight into the business end of the season. Tonight, round 6 of the Radical Cup Canada Winter Series, we have crossed the halfway point, and for those hunting the title, the margin for error has officially evaporated. Donington Park is a place of legends. It's rhythmic, undulating roller coaster and that demands total commitment. From the plunging descent of the Craner curve to the technical hairpins at the side championships, this track will find your breaking point. In Pro, Razim Fazuri maintains his lead with 106 points, but Clay Morris is within striking distance at 98. One bad result tonight could flip the script entirely. In AM, the battle is electric. Sebastian Day holds an heiress of leads at 109 points, with Jacob Attar breathing down his neck at 102. Two classes, 3 rounds left after tonight. A real-world radical test drive is waiting for the champions. This is the home stretch. Ladies and gentlemen, this is round 6. Well, hello everybody, good morning, good evening, and indeed good afternoon, wherever you may be, and welcome to Pit Road Productions, or indeed welcome to FEL Motorsports. Ladies and gentlemen, definitely good to have you on board. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the production booth today, we have the one and only Mr. Reese, the Southpaw Racer Gardner, at the commentary side as well, and at the production controls, the one and only Mr. Christian Hill. But Reese, Donington Park, personally one of my favourite tracks. Indeed, I had the pleasure of being there in real life for a Renault Day of all events, and certainly I understand you've got a few more details on it for us as well.
Indeed, it's an iconic circuit. It's flowing, it's iconic, it is cruel. But we're going to keep an eye out for the schedule first here. Silverstone, Mexico City, Montreal, Monza, and Watkins Glen, of course, the opening rounds, with Donington Park going for round 6. Interlagos and Mosport are going to end off the season in about 6 weeks' time. The beginning of March is when we're going to be ending this season, and it's been a very hotly contested one as well. We're going to have a look at the track itself now. I mean, since the 1930s, this place has been around. It's been challenging drivers ever since. Flowing, iconic, and cruel is Donington Park. The lap begins with a blast towards Red Gate, a wide opening that invites bold lunges but punishes poor exits. Then the heart and mouth moment, the Craner curves at turns 2 and 3, a downhill high-speed sweep where the car feels light and the stakes feel massive. You don't drive through there, you survive it. It leads immediately into the old hairpin at turn 4, where momentum is everything. Through McLean's and Coppice at 6 and 7, the track tests your patience and your tyres through turn 8 as well. If you can't hook it up through the rise of Coppice, you're a sitting duck on the Dunlop Straight. Finally, the anchors are thrown subsurface for the Fogarty S's. There's a prime spot for carnage or a clinical overtake. The lap ends with the tight Melbourne hairpin and Goddard's, 2 slow speed corners where races are won in the braking zone and lost on the throttle. Donington Park rewards the brave but devours the reckless. It's a very historic circuit, Zippy. I'm looking forward to potentially seeing more history being made tonight.
Absolutely, Reese, and indeed we are doing the Grand Prix layout today, ladies and gentlemen. You can see there where turn 9 is. Usually we would have a chicane that would take you straight through to turn 11. But taking a look at the event details, the drivers have had 80 minutes to practice, indeed, and a practice session available last night as well, with 15 minutes of qualifying starting off the evening. A 15-minute sprint race kicks off around 8:35, with a warm-up after that at 9:05 Eastern, leading us on to a 30-minute feature race. It's going to be a fixed setup with in-car adjustments available, ladies and gentlemen. They'll be able to adjust the brake bias, and they will need fuel in that feature race.
That they will. Rolling starts in both races and fixed setups amongst the field. The in-car adjustments for brake bias and potentially anti-roll bars are also available. The drivers are going to need fuel in that 30-minute race. Let's take a look at the championship standings here coming into this round. Drops are in play. The worst sprint and worst feature results are removed from the standings, so every point now is a diamond. Don't throw them away. Razim Fazuri leading by 8 points from Clay Morris. At the front of the standings, Alex Ellis and Christian Muniz still within shooting distance. In the AM class, meanwhile, we find our way to Sebastian Day, who only leads by 7 points from Jacob Batter. Jesse Lambert within 15 points of the championship lead, and Kenton Young only 21 points behind. Still incredibly tight throughout all of these standings. And finally, the team standings as we find our way through. Satellite Racing in the lead with Jour de Course 24 points behind, 2410 Esports and 33 points behind them. The Lima Racing Pro and Junior teams shadowing very closely to round out the top 5 in the team points. But it is time for the grid here, Zippy. The sprint race is now upon us.
Oh, I've honestly been looking forward to this all week, ladies and gentlemen. I do love a good bit of radical action. And look at that, Lima Racing Pro at the front of the grid with Racine Vasui alongside Radical Canada East's very own Clay Morris in P2. Looking back on the second row, Christian Moniz, he's going to be there alongside Alex Ellis, both of the satellite racing cars, taking up the second row. Moving a little bit further back, we've got Mayo Deonaire, absolutely potent young driver. He's there alongside Jesse Lambert in 5th and 6th. Moving back to 7th, ladies and gentlemen, Joey Haynes, a BIS regular, alongside another one as well, Diego Zuccarelli, rounding out your 4th row. And closing out the top 10, Marshall Crocker Jr., ladies and gentlemen, a former champion here at BIS, with alongside champion of the Radical Academy, Cara Dudgeon, absolutely phenomenal young talent there.
That's your top 10 then. In 11th, Jarrett Dunkovic starts alongside Kenton Young in the AM class. Jacob Batter for the Inter Racing team starts his AM car alongside Rich Hibbs. In 15th place, Assad Nakadambev. He's got Sebastian Day alongside him. We'll be looking for Assad to potentially find his way up through the field at least. Brady Clapham and Declan Dionaran will start on the 9th row. The top 20 rounded out by Wyatt Cormier and Mark Boyd.
They call him Bubba, ladies and gentlemen, with John Benvelit there right behind him in P21 alongside JF LaRock. Heading back to 23rd even, our very own Mr. Mike Broomhead alongside Lima Racing leader Cedric O'Hyan. That's going to be a fun battle indeed. In 25th, the only man I've seen watch Pit Road Productions on a plane is Maxime Armand alongside Matthew Crimmy in 26th. Heading back to 27th, very own Robert Kirby, a guest presenter here on Pit Road Productions, with Keenan Blades in 28th. And heading out towards the back of the grid, ladies and gentlemen, Chad Payton's in 29th and Stephen Sutherland in 30th.
Jonathan Pekazin starts in 31st alongside Ovidiu Milos, and the final row of the grid is Mauricio Parada, teammate to Assad Nakadambev, and Matthew Mailman of the Lima Racing Junior team. 34 cars taking to the start here. And really looking forward to this. This is going to be an incredible round of the championship at a very challenging circuit, originally built from carriage tracks through the deer hunting park of the Donington Hall estate. That's how this circuit evolved. 24-degree track temperature, getting ready for the start, Zippy, through Goddard's to the green flag. Let's see who survives lap 1.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Jesse Lambert's in a really strong position as well. P6 in the overall position, and not only that, he's got 6 places between him and Kenton Young, ladies and gentlemen. This could be an absolutely fantastic opportunity here for that driver, as indeed away we go. Green flag. Barney, wait a minute, it looks like one of the drivers there, the 89, that's Jared Dunkovic, almost taken to the grass there, trying to make a pass down as they head towards Redgate.
Yeah, looked like a bit of a fan out there, but it's a clean run through turn 1 for everybody. Craner Curves is up next. Maya Dionaran and Alex Ellis side by side through the first part of Craner Curves, but the old hairpin now beckons, and Dionaran trying up the inside of Clay Morris there. That's slowed him up, and it's going to give another opportunity to the satellite racing car of Alex Ellis. Racine Fazui is running away in the lead at the moment, but it looks like the battle is for everyone behind. There's contact, and Jesse Lambert and Maya Dionaran going off at McLean's, it seems.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be a questionable region, and there's a little bit more of a bump, and one of those cars takes almost to the grass, ladies and gentlemen, to try and get that car back going. Definitely not what they had in mind, as now Robert Kobe is going to be involved in that battle as well. But further up through the field, though, things have definitely got mixed up. Jacob Batar now leading the AM class, and he's in P9 overall, with Cara Dudgeon right behind us. Well, do not underestimate this lady. She is indeed incredibly potent behind the wheel of a Radical SR10.
Yes, but it looks like the battles ahead here, the top five starting to really close up. Actually, Marshall Crocker, it seems, having a problem through Goddard's, and he's lost a bit of time to the rest of the top five. Dunkovic, Haynes, and Bata battling over 6th, 7th, and 8th. Well, Racine Fazui leads by 1.2 seconds at the end of the first lap. He has absolutely nailed that start, and really it's a battle for who's going to finish behind him. At the moment, Clay Morris in a satellite sandwich.
Certainly, indeed, and definitely do not underestimate the drivers as a satellite racing team. Both of them real-life racing drivers, ladies and gentlemen. Both Christian Muniz, he runs in Formula 1600, and then Alex Ellis runs a Cayman GT4. I believe it's VPX, but don't quote me on that. VPX or VPN. Pretty sure it's VPX Motorsports. By all means, we'll check that out a little bit later on. But indeed, we were incredibly honoured to have some real-life and indeed some top sim racer drivers in here as well. Not only that, Cedric O'Hayan, obviously a real racing driver. Mark Boyd, Assad Nicole. You know what, half the field is pretty much real racing drivers, ladies and gentlemen. We've got some potent people in there. But I've got to say, the field is starting to spread out very slightly, but looking at the timing screen, it is lit up red, ladies and gentlemen. What that means is they are all basically within about 1.1 seconds of each other. It's going to be some close racing indeed here on one of my favourite tracks, that is Donington, as we go on board with Mr. Cool, Calm and Collected himself, Diego Zuccarelli.
Currently sitting in 9th. He's doing all right to hold on to a position in the top 10. As they went through the slower corners, the fight broke up. But for a moment, everyone from 5th down to like 24th was within a second of each other, which is frankly crazy. You know, Donington is not a small circuit by any stretch, but the lap is completed incredibly quickly. About 1 minute and 22 seconds is the pace up the front from Racine Fazui, but he's gotten off tracks on every lap so far, so he doesn't actually have the official fastest lap of the race. That belongs to Clay Morris for the moment on a 123.1.
Yeah, you can definitely get a little bit flirtatious here with the track limits, but I've got to say, Diego Zuccarelli, either he has that force feedback quite low, or he really is more ripped than I'm giving him credit for. Don't get me wrong, the guy's got guns on him, but certainly looking, I'd say, pretty relaxed up until that moment there. A little bit of an exhale, a breath there. He's sweating a little bit, and indeed, he's going to have to, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed the pace is absolutely immense here. These guys and girls are incredibly potent. Certainly, I had the honour of running with them at Watkins Glen, and it was one hell of a workout, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, that moment there, you can see where they're really getting close to them bollards. I'm going to have a hazard a guess. That is why Racine Fazui is not yet posted an official lap.
It's very easy to go beyond track limits at that corner, keeping an eye on the 26 here. Oh my lord, this is some interesting fighting. Jacob Bata, Joey Haynes, all fighting ahead of Zuccarelli here, and briefly 3 wide through Goddard's. This is a super tight fight for P6 on back, stretching all the way down to Rich Hibbs in 13th place. There goes Dunkovic defending from Zuccarelli there, still trying to break further into the top 10 is Diego, but Joey Haynes and Jacob Bata, it would appear, falling under a bit of pressure from these guys. Zuccarelli continuing to defend here from Dunkovic. This is fantastic racing, side by side through the crane of curves, but it looks like Dunkovic has gotten it done through the old hairpin.
I gotta say, he's definitely looking really racy today. We've seen aggression from the start, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get me wrong, that is fantastic, but he has managed to control it as well. Certainly, I was worried a little bit about cold tyres and potentially a rapid oversteer moment, but indeed, he's getting it done. Fair play to him, fantastic pass, and Kara Dudgeon in that one. Actually, I've been sitting back a little bit, deciding, you know what, 3 wide's not really my scene. Taking a little bit of race strategy there. Further back, though, I can see 2 white cars starting to get into a little bit of a battle as well. I believe that may be Kenton Young and Rich Hibbs.
Yes, it looks like that is the case, and Kenton Young has had a poor run out of the chicane. That's allowed Assad Nikadenbed through. It may end up being Declan Dionaran's opportunity for a pass as well up the inside at the Melbourne hairpin, and he's really struggling on exit there is Kenton Young. No traction control on these Radical SR10s, so you've got to be very careful out of the corners. John Benvalid sees the opportunity to latch onto the back of this fight.
He is definitely a wily fox, this Benvalid. He won't mug you for a position by any means. He's more of a gentleman than that, but he's definitely not going to say no should the door open, and certainly making sure he applies a good bit of pressure there to the car ahead. That is Kenton Young, the driver of the number 75. Indeed, battles happening throughout. Looks like Sebastian Day, he's getting into a battle as well, but currently Jesse Lambert the hardest faller through the field, ladies and gentlemen. They're down 17 positions. We'll have to see if they can indeed make a recovery there from P23. The hardest charger right now, though, from what I can see, that's actually going to be Jacob Fattar. He's up 6.
Yeah, good job from Jacob Battar. 7th place for the moment, and potentially will be able to latch onto the back of Joey Haynes, who's managed to work his way up 1 position into P6. There's the fight there. Haynes in the black and grey car at the front of this fight. Zuccarelli is still trying his best here to work himself out with Jared Dunkovic, but it's only a short race here for the first race of the round. A bit quicker to the apex there for Dunkovic, but Battar manages to get the exit out of the Melbourne hairpin. Only about 8 minutes or 6 laps remaining in this first race. Not much time to work your positions out. The fastest lap finally goes to Racine Fazui, a 1:22.2. That's an incredible pace up the front.
Well, I'm just going to try and focus a little bit here on the battle happening between Richard Hibbs and Azid Assad and the Cardenbev, as these two guys are definitely going side by side. It looks like Assad's just managed to go and get that position taken over there for the more senior driver, the 115. But we do actually have his former mechanic in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Covered 5 events with him in a Carden event last year. And a little bit of tidbit information for you, courtesy of Luke Ryder. He was his mechanic for a 5-race regional series last year in karts, and describes Assad as being one of the most nicest and fastest dudes I know. That's definitely, you know what, that's a compliment indeed, admirable for his age. And if we continue reading, ladies and gentlemen, he won a really cool award for being an upstanding person at the track when he was 13, voted by everyone there.
Excellent.
I gotta say,
excellent stuff.
I agree with that. That's almost like a sporting endeavour award, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely exactly what we want to see here. It's not just about being a good driver, being good on the track, but having that good, positive attitude and indeed being supportive of your competitors.
Yeah, nicely done indeed. Oh, well, so we'll keep our eye on Assad here because he's under pressure from Rich Hibbs there. Brief look up the inside at the Melbourne hairpin. He's made an all right run up through the field so far. Only 3 positions gained in this first race, and he's going to be back down to 2 positions gained if Richard Hibbs can pull that off. Up the inside through Goddard's. It's a very narrow corner on the exit, so it's hard to actually commit to a pass there on the exit. But Assad and Rich will continue their fight here, I'm sure. Got Cara Dudgeon up ahead of them. Cara's had to give up a place to Brady Clapham, who's actually had a nice run up through the field. Started 17th and now rounds out the top 10. Don't forget, an inverted top 10 is going to be on the cards for the feature. So Brady technically holding on to race 2 pole at the moment.
Yeah, definitely a good position to be in. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar with that name, Brady Clapham, you certainly should be. He's a real-life radical driver as well. He's had wins indeed at Sebring, ladies and gentlemen. Connor Bell was actually his coach remotely, ladies and gentlemen, I believe, for that one. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Indeed, this invert top 10 could be an absolute belter if you can hold on to that position. Certainly, Cara Dudgeon definitely got an opportunity ahead, but to get past Brady Clapham, she's going to have to pull out every trick in her toolbox and indeed try and apply a bit more pressure.
Yeah, oh, speaking of pressure, look at that from Assad Cardenbev. Big dive up the inside, and Clapham's wide, so that's going to give more of an advantage to Assad Cardenbev. Could he elevate himself to race 2 pole position here? This is a big development with 4 laps remaining in this race now. Oh, have a look at the exit of Goddard's. They feather the throttle out of there. It's so easy to power slide out of these hairpins. Redgate, such a difficult corner turn 1. It looks simple enough from the air, but it's so interesting the line you have to take. You need to carry a lot of speed through, run across the pit exit lane to try and widen the entry somewhat, and then hope that you get the exit out. The old hairpin, always difficult as well. There's another off-track opportunity there for Assad Cardenbev, but now he's coming up to the real overtaking opportunities at the back end of the circuit.
Yeah, definitely one of my favourite corners. There's that gradual up-hander as well, going into a blind right-hander. It's definitely challenging, certainly to find the apex there, because it also almost reminds me a little bit of Road Atlanta there. You're kind of just using the force, and there's not really that much for markers you go off either, certainly not ahead of you. You've just got a bunch of trees, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly this bit is where it throws me off a little bit. I'm used to turning right at this point. You can see the rest of the other track there, but this is indeed the GP layout. We're going to basically head down the straight and then have a 180-degree hairpin, but certainly some good pressure being applied by Nakata Bev. Indeed, Cara Dudgeon looking to get on the action as well, but keep an eye on the 224 at the back of this pack. That's That's Declan D'Honorin. He is by no means a slouch either. His brother currently racing as well. Where's he gone, actually? Yeah, Mayor D'Honorin. He's currently back down in 23rd, fallen 18 spots. That's right, he got in a little bit of a tangle earlier with Jesse Lambert.
Yes, difficult run for D'Honorin and Lambert here today. Hopefully race 2 goes a bit better for them. 3 laps now remain, and Nakadenbev a little bit more of a direct line through Redgate. He's on the back of Clapham again, and Jarrett Dunkovic is losing pace ahead of them. Dunkovic has lost touch with the battle between Haynes, Batta and Zuccarelli. So this could be a little wrinkle here in the battle for P10. Let's see how it works out for them. If both Nakadenbev and Clapham can get past, that would be an easy front row for the both of them. But there goes Nakadenbev up the inside of Clapham at McLean's, and now race 2 pole is his. So now we will find a run through to the chicane. This is going to be a tough one for these drivers. Only 2 laps remaining. Haynes, meanwhile, has spun out of the chicane there. You saw that puff of smoke, and that's going to be Haynes falling down the order to 15th. So now Clapham, it seems, has actually gotten back into race 2 pole. Appears we have lost Zippy for the moment, so I'll do my best to bring you guys the final couple of laps of this race. 2 minutes on the timer, 2 laps to go, and there goes Nakadenbev again up the inside of Clapham. 9th place is his, and that should be 2nd place for race 2. But let's keep our eyes peeled on the fights going on for 2nd, for 5th, for 9th here. Cara Dudgeon is starting to pile the pressure on in these dying laps. Let's see if Brady Clapham has any answer for her. That's going to be the battle for race 2 pole there. Rich Hibbs and Declan D'Honorin still right on the back of this fight here. And Cara is trying everything she can to fling her way past Clapham, and she's obviously going to be aware that that's race 2 pole ahead of her. That's going to be a big points opportunity in race 2 presenting itself there. But the final lap beckons. Racine Fazui up the front of the field has been an absolute runaway leader. 5 seconds is currently the gap, and there's not much of an answer from anyone else. Hibbs, defensive then, versus Declan D'Honorin. No, it looks like he's actually letting him go there. And John Benvalid very deep into the hairpin, Zippy.
Yeah, that was a little bit opportunistic there from John on that one, but fair play to him. It did look like Rich Hibbs almost looked like he served a slowdown on that. He just pulled off the racing line, backed right out of it, but right now he has managed to get back up behind Declan D'Honorin as the white flag is being waved. If Cara Dutch is going to make a move, she's going to have to do it quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I can see one of the satellite racing cars there in the background as well. I'm guessing that's Mayor D'Honorin, but right now we're going to keep an eye on this battle currently emerging. Marshall Crocker Jr., he's got Jacob Patar and indeed Diego Zuccarelli behind him, about 7 tenths a second apiece. That indeed is going to be the closest battle happening near the end of this race. As right now we're taking a quick look here at one of the satellite racing cars.
Yeah, looking a bit further back, that's Joey Haynes up ahead, so we're looking at Mark Boyd and Michael Broomhead, the Britannia iSports driver, starting in 23rd place and making up some good positions here towards the end. Lots of speed being carried through McLean's. Have to wait and see if he can get it done either into the Fogarty S's or into the final hairpins. Well, up the front of the field, Racine Fazui is negotiating the final corner, Zippy. What an incredible drive once again. This is the Racine Fazui we are more than used to seeing. He wins the sprint.
Yeah, definitely. He is an incredibly potent driver, ladies and gentlemen. He's just short of 8,000 iRating indeed. So, yeah, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. As we see here, that looks like Jacob Patar, ladies and gentlemen, in the 111 car, who's currently right behind Marshall Crocker Jr. Crocker Jr., a former BiS champion indeed, with Diego Zuccarelli, a very experienced Radical SR10 sim racer indeed. As we see, incredibly close there. That was down to 78 thousandths of a second. It looks like Cara Dudgeon as well, not quite able to get the better of Brady Clapham, about a tenth of a second, and then more battles happening throughout though. You see side by side across the line. That was incredibly close, ladies and gentlemen, and that I believe was between John Benvalid and Wyatt Cormier. Actually, no, it's even closer. That's Cedric O'Hine and Maxime Armand, 2 thousandths of a second in it.
crazy finishes further back in the field, and particularly in the case of that P10 battle between Clapham and Dudgeon, Cara did get a better exit than Clapham out of the final corner, but it just wasn't enough. If only the race was a lap longer, Cara's probably thinking, then she might have had another chance to elevate herself to pole position for race 2, but at the moment it looks like that's fallen to Brady in the number 77. That's the results done and dusted. Let's go through them.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Racine Pasui taking the win with Clay Morris in second. Alex Ellis took third with Christian Moniz in fourth. Marshall Cocker Jr. taking fifth. Jacob Bittard takes the M-Class win, ladies and gentlemen, with P6 overall, followed by Diego Zuccarelli in seventh. Jared Dunkovich looking very racy this evening. He was there in eighth with Assad Nikardenbev. Not only getting support from the chat, but indeed a good result in P9 with Brady Clapham rounding out your top 10.
Cara Dudgeon just misses out on that top 10 there, finishing 11th, a mere couple of tenths behind. Declan Dionarin finishes in 12th with Rich Hibbs, Joey Haynes and Mark Boyd rounding out your top 15. Michael Broomhead will finish in 16th place ahead of Jesse Lambert and Sebastian Day. Maya Dionarin had a really tough one down in 19th there with Cedric O'Hyan rounding out the top 20, gaining 4 positions over those 11 laps.
Having a look there in P21, ladies and gentlemen, Wasim Almond is there with John Benblid right behind in 22nd. Closest finish we've seen here for a while. Wyatt Cormier took 23rd with Matthew Crimi in 24th. Robert Covey, the bearded sim racer himself, there in 25th. JF LaRock took 26th with Chad Payton in 27th. Keenan Blades took 28th with Steve Sutherland for Auto Eclectic Motorsports in 29th with Ovidio Milos rounding out your 30th, oh my gosh, top 30. In 31st, Jonathan Bukazin with Kent Young in 32nd. Matthew Mailman took 33rd with Mauricio Parada. I do not believe started the race, ladies and gentlemen, for NV Racing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, both Kenton Young and Matthew Mailman had big issues throughout the race. But looks like that's going to be race 1 done and dusted. The warm-up now upon us here, Zippy. Still about a few minutes to go before we get to the start of race 2. But a lot more to think about for race 2. We've got our inverted top 10. It's a longer race, and the fuel tank restriction in this series means a pit stop is going to be required. I think we're going to be seeing a couple of problems on pit exit, because we would have noticed that the pit lane exits onto the racing line on the outside of turn 1. So if the gaps are close, we might see some drama.
Yeah, very much so, Reece. And certainly, I mean, you can push quite far over onto that pit exit line, but if you go too far, it will give you a slowdown as well. You've got to definitely tread carefully in that section of the track. But I have a feeling with the large straightaways we've got here at Donington Park as well, I've got a feeling we're going to see a couple of these drivers really trying to fuel save and potentially make a leapfrog through the pit strategy.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to have to keep an eye out for who jumps into the pits first. They might end up gaining quite a bit, but we are past the halfway point of this championship. It looked like the championship gap was narrowing to Racine Fazui, but considering the pace that he had in race 1, I wouldn't be surprised if he extends that lead coming out of this round.
Yeah, certainly with the invert grid, he's going to have to work his way through some traffic as well. And certainly we've seen he can do that, ladies and gentlemen. But don't get wrong, with traffic, anything can happen. But for anybody in the chat as well, hey, welcome, Ricky. We've got another person joining the chat. We love having people in the chat. If you are in Canada, sorry, Reece, you're going to bomb out on this one, buddy. And I believe Christian's probably going to bomb out as well. But we are planning on going over to the Victoria Day Speed Fest at Mosport as well. I'm planning on being there. I'm pretty sure Mike's going to be there. Mike Broomhead from BiS. We're going to have multiple people over there. Obviously, Cedric O'Hyan, John Benblid, they're planning on being there as well. Brady Clapham, I'm pretty sure he's going to be there. Mark Boyd, I expect to be there. Ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a lot of people who you have seen on the sim racing screen there. There's going to be real life drivers. There's going to be myself there as well. I'd like to say real life driver, but I think I'd be overselling my own talents at that point. But certainly, if you're looking for something to do Victoria Day weekend, come on over. I'd certainly plan on being there, and I'd love to meet as many of you as possible.
Yeah, indeed. Shame I can't make it. Obviously, I'm in Perth, Western Australia, and so it's quite a time investment and a financial investment for me to get over there. I actually don't have a passport right now either. I think mine expired. So if I want to get over to Canada, that's going to require a bit of work. But maybe in a couple of years' time, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, certainly we'll have to bring you over to Nova Scotia, get you a lobster or something. But I don't care for it myself, but if you like seafood, Nova Scotia's the place to go. Certainly, if you're looking for if you're looking for an alternative way to get over here, certainly just follow the wise words of Johnny Depp, who was played Jack Sparrow. Just sea turtles, mate.
Yep. I'll hitch a ride on the back of one of the numerous great whites that infest the waters of Australia and see if it takes me to Canada. Wherever the wind will take me, I will be there. We've just got a few seconds remaining in the warm-up, Zippy. Once again, the chase for the grand prize of a test in a real-world radical car is beckoning for these drivers. Let's see who gets the run in race 2.
Yeah, certainly a huge thank you to Cedric O'Hine and indeed Lima Racing for providing that opportunity. You can see them all over the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely, certainly it's an honour to get to drive such a car. And if you look really closely, ladies and gentlemen, you'll definitely see a BiS logo on one of them, but indeed you'll see a Pit Road Productions logo on it as well. A huge thank you to Lima Racing for such phenomenal support.
Exactly. Fantastic stuff from Lima Racing, and a huge thanks as well to FEL Motorsports for coming on board with the series for this season and lending their official support. FEL is the organization behind the Real World Radical Cup Canada, and it's fantastic to have them on board here. Well, it's looks like the grid's up for race number 2, so let's go through it. An inverted top 10 for this one. On pole position, it is going to be Brady Clapham. Asad Nakadenbev starts alongside him on the front row. Jarrett Dunkovic starts in 3rd place alongside Diego Zuccarelli, with Jacob Batta in the AM class starting P5. Marshall Crocker alongside him. Christian Muniz starts 7th. He's joined by his teammate at Satellite Racing, Alex Ellis. The top 10 rounded out by Clay Morris and Racine Fazui. Zippy from there on back. It's where they finished in race 1.
Yes, sir. Carl Judkins is going to take P11 with Declan Diana in 12th. Heading back to 13th, we've got Rich Hibbs from iRace Control. Joey Haynes takes 14th alongside another BIS regular. Mark Boyd, the leader of Auto Eclectic Motorsports, he's there in 15th alongside BIS's own league admin and organizer, Mike Broomhead. Jesse Lambert takes 17th alongside Sebastian Day in 18th. And rounding out your top 20, Maya Dionarin is going to be in 19th with Cedric O'Hine, Lima Racing leader, closing out the top 20.
In 21st, Maxime Armand with John Benvalid alongside, with Wyatt Cormier and Matthew Crimi behind them. Robert Covey starts 25th alongside Jean-Francois Larocque, and then it's Chad Payton and Keenan Blades on row number 14. The top 30 rounded out by Stephen Sutherland and Ovidiu Milos, with Jonathan Picazen, Kenton Young and Matthew Mailman rounding out the running order. Mauricio Parada has still not taken to the grid, so I don't think he'll be able to go for a run today. But now it's time to gear things up for the start, Zippy. Looks like everyone is weaving to heat up these tyres. God knows they're going to need some heat in them when the green flag drops.
Yeah, definitely the Radical. It's incredibly impressive just exactly how much grip you can get out of these cars. There is quite a bit of downforce going in there. You're going to see an even better demonstration of that in just a few short moments. We definitely want to get the tyres up to temperature there as away we go, ladies and gentlemen. Almost a single file start there. As I say that, further back, the Satellite Racing guys pretty much flanking that car in the middle of them. My sympathies to them being in the middle of that combination, as indeed there is a little bit of contact going out through Redgate. Oh my God!
And there's a car off. Oh no, Diego's going to fall down the order there out of Redgate. Side by side for the lead though, Jarrett Dunkovic up the inside of Brady Clapham. He will lead out of the old hairpin and off the circuit, one of the satellite cars of Alex Ellis. He needs every point he can get at this stage of the season, so that's not an ideal sequence of events for him. Big slide. It looks like Clapham and Nakadenbev had come together through McLean's, and that will elevate Christian Muniz and Clay Morris back to the podium. Racine Fazui, our race 1 winner, up to 4th.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot happening in the first race. I've just seen somebody else taking the scenic route, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely not the route I've preferred, and I could have sworn I just saw 4 wide, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope I'm right, and I really hope I'm wrong at that occasion. Certainly Christian Muniz currently leading a real-life Formula 1600 driver, with Clay Morris, one of the engineers there for Radical Canada, right behind in second. Racine Fazui getting into the pressure as well, but Alex Ellis, a real-world GT4 driver, ladies and gentlemen, sponsored by Dr. Dava, and indeed Ellis Engineering. He's currently there in P6, up 2 positions, and looking to try and make his way towards the podium.
Indeed. Oh, that's very, very wide there for Maya Dionarin up ahead. But it looks Like Ellis himself got compromised through the final corner. He'll open himself up to an attack from Marshall Crocker, the AM champion from last season. And round the outside, a red gate. He's going to try in the tartan liveried machine. It's not going to work. Alex Ellis retakes the place. But have a look at Richard Hibbs, up 5 positions so far and looking very pacey in these early stages.
Yeah, very much so. I would definitely not discount Richard Hibbs by any means. He is a lot more potent than he lets off, ladies and gentlemen. Very well spoken, very subtle gentleman indeed, but definitely very potent on the track as well. To see a little bit of a detour there from Mayor de Honor, and he's definitely flirting with the track limits as well. Multiple battles happening throughout the field, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, Michael Broomhead looks like he's getting into a battle there with Cedric O'Hine, and I believe he's just managed to get that position taken from the Lima Racing leader.
Absolutely. This is going to be ideal here for Racine. He is steadily working his way up. Broomhead, meanwhile, under a lot of pressure there, and manages to retake the line into the chicane. There's a bit of jostling going on there with Joey Haynes and Sebastian Day up ahead. There's lots of potential for big moves as they make their way around these hairpins.
Yeah, that was JF LaRock there making the move through the chicane. Definitely not where I expected to see some passing happen today, but fair play. If you can make it work, go for it. It's Jesse Lambert there, definitely being quite aggressive, and he's definitely keen to try and make his way up and forward, ladies and gentlemen, going side by side with Maxime Armand. Again, the only person I've ever seen watching Pit Road Productions broadcast on a plane, ladies and gentlemen. He was watching while he was on his way back from Daytona 24. Definitely, what a fantastic weekend that would have been, ladies and gentlemen. But indeed, Clay Morris as well, starting to challenge Racine Fazui for P2. Racine currently up 8 spots, but your hard charger, don't ask me how he's done it. Mayor de Honor up an incredible 14 spots, currently resting in P5.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking for a move of the race, maybe we have to look at the entire first lap for Maya de Honor, and we'll keep that in the back of our heads, put a pin in that as Maya continues in P5. We're keeping our eyes peeled on the battles further back. Meanwhile, Michael Broomhead in the midst of this fight. He's got Joey Haynes up ahead of him. Haynes down 3 positions thus far. It's been a tough first lap for those guys. The battle is on for the lead there. Racine Fazui trying around the outside of Christian Moniz at the hairpin, and it looks like he's going to get it done. Asad Nakadenbev passing Clay Morris for the final podium position, or at least attempting to. They're going to be side by side into Goddard's. Oh, the track falls away from you when you get to the exit of the corner. That's the main reason why it's so difficult. And there's the top 4 in order for Zui, Moniz, Morris, and Nakadenbev. Have a look at this. Moniz is not letting Racine get away with this.
Absolutely not, and he's a very well-spoken gentleman as well. I actually really enjoyed the interview with Christian Moniz over on the Formula 1600, but I just want to point something out here, Reese. Our top 6 is entirely occupied by real-world racing, either racing drivers or engineers, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly Clay Morris, I don't think he's got behind the wheel of a real car, but don't get me wrong, I'd definitely put him behind one. Indeed, he's potent, ladies and gentlemen, and right now that is an incredible statistic, as I see Declan de Honorin has managed to pick up a black flag from somewhere. I have a feeling he's picked up a slowdown. It's a bit too early for incident points, and yeah, he's going to have to take a drive-through penalty to try and clear that.
Yeah, that's not ideal there for Declan de Honorin. Just outside the top 10, it's going to be tough for him. But there is still a pit stop coming in this race. And the drivers do need to be aware of that. Pit entry is off the exit of the final corner on the left-hand side. So that's going to introduce some drama as Nakadenbev passes Clay Morris for 3rd and parks it on the apex on the exit. Doesn't allow Clay to get back past him. Racine Fazui starting to run away with it again up the front. You'll see pit exit right there. See the lane splitting off to the left-hand side. You need to be very slow through the final corner to get that done. So if drivers are in a close battle, they will need to be aware of drivers coming into the pits.
Indeed, they will. Certainly, it's a less forgiving pit lane there as Asad Nakadenbev applying even more pressure to the back of Clay Morris. Further back in the field, though, Joey Haynes currently having a battle there, and I believe Declan de Honorin has currently gone down pit road and is serving that black flag.
Yeah, looks like it. He's going to come out way down the running order. Here's Maya, meanwhile. He's started to latch onto the back of this battle for second. Alex Ellis, the car in front of him, and Maya is carrying a little bit more speed through the apexes of these fast corners. That might give him a chance here. But, oh man, that run through Goddard's is, sorry, not Goddard's, it's Coppice, that corner. It's really easy to actually miss the apex through there when you're right behind another car. It's difficult to pick it from the blind uphill entry.
Yeah, certainly I'm starting to wonder what would happen if we turn them free posts into ones made of concrete. I have a feeling we'd end up with a couple of broken race cars and indeed a little bit of fiberglass or indeed a new couple of body shells fitted to a few of these cars indeed, as that is a little bit of a move there on Cara Dodge. And that's Jesse Lambert trying to make his way through, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly he's been an aggressive racer, and indeed he's now going to have to contest with Sebastian Day for the outright win of M-Class.
Yep, Sebastian Day makes his way past Cara Dudgeon. The fastest lap goes to Clay Morris now, 122.7. Once again, Racine Fazui is running faster laps than these guys, but he's getting off tracks every single lap. Dudgeon again under pressure there. Joey Haynes, who's had trouble elevating himself further up from P14, evidently struggling to make his way past there. And Sebastian Day, Jesse Lambert, and Jarrett Dunkovic will be fans of that. But once again, it seems like Dunkovic's consistency is suffering a little bit. Lambert and Day are gaining on him hand over fist.
Yeah, Dunkovic, don't get me wrong, he's a potent driver indeed. He's got pace, but certainly a little bit more inconsistent perhaps. But don't get me wrong, he's making it count when it really matters. Able to really benefit in that last race, but he's going to have to try and keep that car under control. Certainly having driven this at Watkins Glen last round, ladies and gentlemen, it is physically demanding to drive these cars, certainly at the level of competition that's currently present in this race. And you know, hats off to him. Myself, certainly, I felt the workout, ladies and gentlemen. It was fantastic, but you certainly, to keep your mind mentally that sharp as well for that sustained period of time, it is more than just a sprint.
Yeah, it certainly is. Christian Muniz ran wide through the final corner just then, and that allows Clay Morris alongside coming into Redgate, but the inside line always wins on entry into the first corner. Got to be careful on the exit though. A little bit wide there for Muniz once again. Clay Morris in the slipstream down the Craner curves, and I think had to back out of it early there. This is such a beautiful sequence of corners, but if you're too close to the car in front, they can become a bit hazardous.
Indeed they can, and certainly Clay Morris now is going to be looking to try and apply the pressure as Mayo Diana, and it's just managed to make it past Assad Nikardabev, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be happening right behind these two gentlemen here, indeed, and behind Alex Ellis as well. Ellis definitely, oh my. We have a car taking a diesel. That was Matthew Mailman, I believe, just had a little bit of diesel there in the sand. As you see Clay Morris absolutely fly past. And here you can see the draft really coming into play. Now you have got to wonder, is Clay Morris going to be looking to try and make the pass, or is he indeed going to sit behind the likes of Christian Muniz and try and save some fuel as Muniz goes to the inside to establish a defensive line?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very hard to save fuel at Donington Park. It's such a short lap, so many fast corners that require you to be on the power through them, and it looks like the position will be defended nicely from Clay Morris on the exit there. But once again, it's running wide on the exit of Goddard's, and oh, that's a big slide there from Christian Muniz. He could almost have gone into pit lane there, but he elects not to, and he has lost a lot of time there. He'll fall into contact with his teammate Alex Ellis as Maya Dionarin and Assad Nikardabev continue fighting over P6. Nikardabev repassing Maya on the way down through Redgate.
Yeah, certainly, Luke, if you're still in there, I'd love to know if Maya and indeed Assad have raced against each other in real life in the karting world, because looking at the way they're battling, I have a feeling, oh my, they're both off. Can we get a replay of that?
Yeah, we might have to. While we're talking about that, Cara Dudgeon has stopped in the runoff area on the exit of turn 1. I'm not sure what's going on there for Cara. Maybe a hardware failure. It's a very difficult spot to be stuck in there. She's off the racetrack, so not too bad. But yeah, whatever issue has befallen her, evidently it's been resolved, but she has fallen all the way back to 29th.
Yeah, that's definitely a little bit unfortunate there. She's got pace, no doubt, and Without a doubt, way quicker than me. But let's take a look here at the replay here between Assad Nakatov and indeed Mayo Diana, and you can see there, Assad currently in the lead. A little bit of a move there from Mayo, and definitely a little bit too aggression. I see why the lights went on from Assad. I wouldn't say that Teddy's throughout the prem, but indeed he was not thrilled with that maneuver, and certainly I think the sportsman-like maneuver thing to do there, honestly, if I was a 244, would be to hand that position back.
Well, you never know. A post-race penalty might come his way for Maya Diodarin. I mean, the old hairpin, I mean, it is the official name of it is a hairpin, but it's hardly a hairpin at all. Have a look at it. It's right here. It is a fast right-hander that brings you out under Starkey's Bridge. It's a difficult corner to attempt passes at, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, definitely not. And indeed, from my point of view, any corner is a passable opportunity. You just have to force it hard enough. Certainly, definitely not what they teach at the Almeida Academy, perhaps. You know, maybe. I'm not the expert, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly my racecraft and indeed my pace can do with some improvement. I need to spend a bit more time doing the Almeida Academy, ladies and gentlemen. But I've been so busy doing broadcasts, ladies and gentlemen. Forgive me for that. But if you're here and you're watching it, well, that's on you. Thank you very much. And actually, speaking of that, we are getting so close to hitting 1,000 subscribers, so if you haven't done it already, ladies and gentlemen, please hit subscribe here on the Pit Road Productions channel, and then also as well, if you're watching on FPL Motorsports, give them a subscribe as well. Why not? See some of the real racing world happening over here in Canada.
Absolutely. And once again, a huge thanks to FPL Motorsports for coming on board for this season of the Radical Cup Canada Winter Series. Assad Nakatov in the pits. He's the first of our front runners to come into the pit lane here just before the halfway point of the race. So let's see what his pit stop time is. We've already seen Michael Broomhead, JF LaRocque and Kenton Young make their way into the pits. About 6 to 7 seconds is what we expect for pit stop times. 8.7 seconds the stop length for Assad Nakatov as Cormier, Benvalid and Ohayon join him in pit lane. And fortunately, no one around Assad as he re-enters the racetrack. If there was a battle happening alongside him at that point, it would have been decidedly difficult.
Well, speaking of that battle, I could see why he pit on that lap. You just keep an eye on the passenger side side skirt there, that little bit of a sill. Depends what you want to call it, side pock perhaps, but you see there was a little bit of damage there, and they did get that repaired during the pit lane, gentlemen. I do believe the drivers have one fast repair available, and it's fair to say that Assad Nakatov has just cashed that chip. So certainly it's going to be interesting seeing that, how that affects his long-term race strategy. But at this point, about halfway through the race, I think he's going to be all right for fuel, as long as having that much open air doesn't end up being a little bit of a downfall in the long run.
Well, to keep our eyes on the battle of the saddle light cars, Alex Ellis and Christian Muniz still holding on to third and fourth for the moment. The fastest lap going to Racine Fazui once again here, 1 minute 22.2. He's just able to extract a little bit more pace out of this circuit than everyone else, and a historic circuit it is indeed. Donington Park, of course, famous for hosting a lot of pre-World War II Grand Prix in the sort of Silver Arrows era of Mercedes and Auto Union. And the current layout the circuit has more or less follows what it originally did, but you'll notice there's a lot of open area, a lot of grass around the circuit. Back in the day, it was far from that. The entire section from Redgate all the way through to Coppice here was lined with trees back in the day.
Yeah, that definitely sounds a little bit unforgiving should you go a little bit wide, but certainly to me, I see Donington Park. I'd say I remember, I reminisce. I don't know if that's quite the right word, ladies and gentlemen, because it'll make sense in a minute. This predates me, but certainly I think of the days of like the BTCC, Steve Soper and Andy Roush absolutely beating the living snot out of Ford Sierra RS500 Cosworth.
Yeah, indeed. And Donington Park famously hosting the 1993 European Grand Prix, which is the location of what some call Ayrton Senna's greatest drive ever in sopping wet conditions. This is a circuit that has a lot of history behind it, and though we almost lost it in the 2010s due to a couple of bad investments and a failed F1 bid, it is still around and still hosting racing to this day. Fantastic to see.
Actually, speaking of that, I believe it's owned by a former race car driver. I think it's Palmer. if I remember rightly. Don't quote me on the name, but there's
Jonathan
Donington
Palmer,
Park,
yes.
Jonathan Palmer, there's Donington Park, Cadwell Park, which is literally an hour from where I grew up, or well, where I age, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, but around some of the best back roads in the entire country is Cadwell Park. You got Snetterton, and then you got Brands Hatch. All of those four owned by Palmer.
He also owns the Circuito de Navarra in Spain under his Motorsport Vision brand. It's very nice to see. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on the battles for the moment as more pit stops have happened. Pekazin and Payton have just made their way through the lane. At the moment, Asad Nikadebev still the leader of the cars that have come in for a stop. He sits in 16th. I'll be interested to see what the response is from the drivers ahead. It seems like no one is keen to jump into pit lane yet. Nikadebev is the real outlier. These guys are trying to extend this first stint as much as they can. There's a trade going on here potentially between the satellite teammates. They don't want to run side by side too often. They'll end up losing time to Maya Dionarin, and there's a lapped car out ahead of them as well. This could be difficult.
Yeah, that is indeed the number 24 car of Chad Payton there, who yeah, well, that's one way of doing it. He takes to the grass to get out of the way, and understandably so. Oh my word, no! I thought they were literally going to pour into the lane. I think that was Declan Dionarin, ladies and gentlemen. I believe he had a bit of an incident there. Let's take a quick replay of that. Certainly a couple of learning opportunities for the two brothers here.
Yeah, that was tough there for Declan. He has already had a pretty rough race, has already toured through the pits for damage. Looks like it might have been contact here through Starkey's Bridge, and yeah, that is a dangerous spot to come to a stop. But he gets out of the way just in time, and not to take care on the re-entry there. That was lucky.
Yeah, definitely the backing up I could make peace with, but trying to rejoin that quickly I think was maybe a little bit ambitious, we'll put it like that. Definitely a learning experience. Certainly in the real world, would I have ever dreamed of doing that? Absolutely not. I would have put that car in reverse, got back, got out of the way, took a second and then gone, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it's a little bit more higher stakes, but I see there's all sorts of magic happening near the front of the field, ladies and gentlemen. I have a feeling we had another wave here going through the pit lane.
We do indeed. Jacob Batta in the lane, Alex Ellis, Maya Dionarin, Brady Clapham and Jesse Lambert also in there as well. And pit stop times are looking about the same as we saw from Nikadebev.
Well, you say that, it's not looking good for Dionarin, bro. As Maya Dionarin has picked up a black flag, I do have to wonder, did he get caught speeding in the pits?
Yeah, or it might have been an unsafe pit entry as well. It's difficult to nail the pit lane at Donington Park, so looks like Maya Dionarin, despite his incredible run up through the field, is going to have to come into the pits again.
Well, I was just keeping an eye here on where himself and Asad Nikadebev fell into place. And certainly right now, Asad Nikadebev is currently about 2 seconds behind him, but where Dionarin has to serve that black flag, that has pretty much ruled that out. But I'm keeping an eye on the pit lane times, ladies and gentlemen, and currently I'm seeing some interesting statistics right now. So Alex Ellis, Maya Dionarin, Asad Nikadebev, Jesse Lambert, Sebastian Day, Brady Clapham, Matthew Crummy, all of these guys around the 8-second mark. But what gets really interesting, Kenneth Young 7.5 seconds. Okay, Mike Broomhead 6.5 seconds. I have a feeling the 00 may indeed be running on hopes and dreams near the end of this race.
Yeah, that's a very short pit stop from Broomhead. Maybe no tire change. I mean, what I don't understand why you would change tires in the first place. It's only a 30-minute race, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. Michael Broomhead comes back out in 26th, about 10 positions down from where he started. So some difficulties probably ahead for our league administrator, JF LaRocque, here on the back of Mark Boyd and John Benvalid, fighting over 22nd place. Maya Dionarin back in pit lane, and it looks like the stop will end up putting him even further down as Matthew Crimmy and Robert Covey also jump into the pits, still waiting on our top 3 to make their way in.
Yeah, definitely the late strategy seems to be the way to go, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly Razim Fazoui's still out there. The top 6 cars actually yet to make their way down pit road. 6 cars, 5 cars, ladies and gentlemen. 5 cars, there we go. too many lines. So, as indeed we can see Robert Covey making his way down out of pit exit, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, a nice clear pit exit at that. The bearded sim racer himself, but what you can see as well, if you go too a little bit too wide there at Redgate, you are indeed going to be in the gravel, not just in the sand pit next to you, but indeed there is a little bit of debris there on turn 1.
Bit of gravel being thrown up onto the racetrack, as it looks like our top drivers are now in. Fazui, Morris, Hibbs, Dunkovic, they have all made their way in. Racine stop, 8.5 seconds. He'll come out in the lead still. Clay Morris coming out in 2nd place, and Christian Muniz manages to get out in 3rd ahead of Alex Ellis. Slightly quicker pit stop there. Asad Nakadambev, though, is getting onto the back of them. Let's see if there's any further runs from Assad towards the end here. Only got 6 and a bit laps to go.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite close enough. He's about 3 seconds back from Alex Ellis. But what I do see right now is, looking at the times there as well, the shortest stuff I've seen, excluding Mike Broomhead, would be Jesse Lambert there with a 7.1. Sorry, my apologies, Jared Dunkovic there with a 7.1. So he's somebody to keep an eye on as well. I do have to wonder if a couple of these drivers are going to be short on fuel, as Maxime Armand also makes his way down pit road. Last driver.
Maxime. Yes, indeed, and that looks like the field is cleansed, so we'll find our way to the final few laps of this race with everyone now set for how their race is going to end. Christian Muniz and Alex Ellis are the closest battle up the front for 3rd place. 2 satellite drivers shadowing each other nicely. On board with Robert Covey, who's down in 26th place at the moment. Not too far ahead is the battle between Matthew Crimmy and Keenan Blades, and considering the pace that Covey's been able to pull so far, he might be able to make up about half a second or more on them before the end.
Yeah, certainly we're going to wish him the best of luck. A guest presenter here on Pit Road Production. Certainly, I do need to go and meet the guy next time he's in the area. I've just not managed to find the time, ladies and gentlemen, for which I actually feel quite guilty about that. I would love to meet Robert Covey in person. Indeed, he is a gentleman, a scholar, and honestly, he's just a good guy to hang around with. But right now, you can see there, pushing it down 5th, 4th, 3rd, through the chicane, cuts the course as much as he can as he makes his way down towards a 180-degree hairpin.
Yeah, an incredible circuit here at Donington Park. One of the slowest corners on the circuit. You've got to be so careful on the exit. It's very easy to fling out the rear end on the exit of these corners. And then Goddard's here. Have a look at the elevation change. There's the crest, and then it falls down there. The track flattens out. It's very easy to run wide, but Covey did a good job of keeping the car nice and tight there. And that is the end of another lap.
It looks like we've got a battle happening for P8 as well. Jesse Lambert and Jared Dunkovic have been exchanging positions for a few minutes as well, as have the 2 teammates, the satellite racing team of the Alex Ellis in the 50 and indeed Christian Muniz in the 295. I have a feeling there's no team orders between these guys. It is just now all out dogfight, ladies and gentlemen, for which, yeah, there is definitely no team orders. Watching these guys, there is no love lost between them, and certainly, yeah, there is... It's like the Bash Brothers, ladies and gentlemen. They're on the same team, but you just start to wonder at one point just how far they're going to go.
Oh, here we go. Defensive from Muniz, and Ellis will try around the outside of Redgate. A lot of speed being carried there towards the apex, and that is a great move, it turns out, from Alex Ellis. Christian Muniz trying his best to hold on to it, but the satellite cars are just having their own race here. It looks like they're having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just realised actually as well, this is going to be going on Alex's social media. I think they're putting on a show for the camera, ladies and gentlemen, in which case, absolutely, I got no objections there. These 2 real-world racing drivers and indeed teammates are duking it out for the last spot on the podium as well. Jared Dunkovic, though, and indeed Jesse Lambert are still going at it as well, ladies and gentlemen, back in P8. Indeed, Jesse Lambert, he's got to make sure he keeps that car clean because he's currently leading the AM class. Could be a good opportunity for Sebastian Day, who's currently in P10.
Yes, if Lambert and Dunkovic come together, you saw them just at the top of the frame there in the background. Incredibly close indeed. Up 9 positions for Jesse Lambert, and Jarrett Dunkovic down 6, so he's wanting to regain a little bit. Fresher out of the pits than Lambert as well. Looks like a bit of a response coming from Muniz here. He's managed to nail the exit of Melbourne, and now Goddard sees Alex Ellis be a little bit slower to the apex. Let's see how this works out between the 2 of them. Is there any response from Christian Muniz? He'll try the same thing that Alex Ellis was able to do last lap. More speed at the apex, but all right there. Looks like he ran over the lip of the curb, and that induced a bit of instability for Manise. So Ellis is safe for now.
Indeed, they are. They're safe from Manise, but certainly not from Cardenbev, who had that gap earlier about 3 seconds. He's brought that down to under a second. Certainly the battle has indeed cost him. There's another big battle happening further back as well. Cedric O'Hyan, he's got the likes of Mediana and Mark Boyd as well. And certainly Cedric and Mark Boyd would have raced together in real life. Not sure how it would have turned out, but indeed some good friendly competition there from two of the, I believe they're Masters class drivers as well would be the correct term. But certainly here you can see the number 60 here of Jesse Lambert still going at it with Jared Dunkovic.
Looks like Dunkovic has been able to make his way past there, and Lambert will try his best to hold on. Sebastian Day running at 123.6 on the last lap. That's 4/10 faster than what Lambert could manage. I believe Lambert had to let Dunkovic go on that lap. That's the reason why it's a little bit slower. But still far from over. 3 laps remain, and it looks like Kenton Young has just towed back to pit lane. That's unfortunate there for Kenton. Got to wonder exactly what happened to him.
Yeah, he was up 16 spots at one point. He was a hard charger just a lap ago, so definitely curious there. But I do want to try and see a little bit of that action further back, as Mediana has indeed made it past Cedric O'Hyan, and now himself and Mark Boyd and John Beverly are all going to be sharing the track very closely together. That could get very interesting indeed. It looks like Azus sponsoring the honorary machine.
Yes, can't miss it. Bright blue and white for my Diona, and it looks like Western Digital.
Oh no!
So
That's
on
Boyd.
the car is, oh dear, yeah, Mark Boyd's fallen down the order there. That's a bit of a problem there, and he'll get rolling again out of Goddard's. But this late in the race, it's really brutal making a mistake there.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'd rather make one at this stage of the race rather than at the beginning. Certainly less cars, less packed together indeed. As we're going to take a look back here, as the Sardan Karnamev has caught back up to the tail there of the 295 of Christian Manise, and he's now got the gap down to 0.3 of a second. Indeed, Satellite Racing put on a great battle, but indeed has it cost them potentially between the teams here, as the Sardan Karnamev is going to be looking single-handedly to take on not one but 2 Satellite Racing cars.
Yeah, while the battle was fun to watch between the Satellite teammates, it did slow them up, and Sadna Kardenbev has been steadily making up time on them. He's the only driver in this pack who's actually managed to set times below 1 minute and 23 seconds, at least on the last lap, before last. This lap, still quicker than both Ellis and Manise, but now he's the single NP racing machine against 2 satellite cars, and the cockpit view here really shows how brutal Donington Park can be. It's a smooth enough circuit, it's fast, it's flowing, but you've really got to be careful around these quick corners.
Yeah, you definitely can't overslow the car. Indeed, if you lose that momentum, you'll pay for it throughout the majority of the track, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, there's not too many corners where you really throw the anchors on and get to a slow speed, other than those chicanes. But certainly, aside from Karlenberg, he's got a challenge ahead of him. He's currently there in P5, and realistically as well, with these 2 guys being teammates, is he going to potentially find himself really up against a brick wall there? These guys go side by side, and realistically, he's going to have nowhere he can possibly go. In that case, he says, "No, thank you. I'll bring it down to the inside." Gets a little bit of a nudge there, and oh my gosh, he's hit the incident limit, ladies and gentlemen. He's gifted a black flag as the Fuzui takes the
round he goes.
Indeed. Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh, that's compromised. That's compromised Manise as well. That's 2 free spots for Marshall Crocker, who now sits in 4th.
Oh, it was going so well. I feel for the kid, but definitely a little bit unfortunate there. I think what a lot of the drivers have been doing today, Reese, is there is the what I would call the strategic off-track, and I think that's been happening in the chicane. And my suspicion would be Assad took advantage of that, and maybe just near the end, that little 4x contact there was just enough to push him over the incident limit, and indeed got him the attention of the stewards.
Yeah, that's a real shame. Assad Nakardambev will have to settle now for 13th at best. But it is the final lap, and Racine Fuzui has shown no signs of stopping here. His momentum has been incredible this whole season. He is the reigning champion of this series as well in the pro class. And it looks like he's going to set himself on track to doing it again here. Winning both races at Donington Park. And the celebrations begin early here for Racine Fazui across the line. He will win both races at Donington Park with pole position for race 1 as well. It's sheer dominance.
Definitely a clean sweep there for Racine Fazui, but also good news for Mike Brimhead. Despite that 6.5-second stop, he finished literally right behind. He was the first car across the line after Racine, so actually got away with that. Don't get me wrong, it's P25. He's probably going to be hoping for a bit more, but Racine Fazui absolutely barbecuing those tyres there. One of the satellite racing cars comes in hot, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it is a different kind of party as Racine Fazui now running that open concept radical.
Yeah, well, he doesn't. They don't need the bodywork anymore. Now that the race is finished, still battles to work out. Cedric O'Hyan and John Benvalid were fighting over 18th place. JF LaRocque and Cara Dudgeon have a bit of a battle to decide between themselves as well. Cara has been set back quite a bit over the course of this race, but she's certainly been working her way forward again. Now they find their way into the final corner. Is there anything else that Cara can do here to work herself into 23rd place? No, unfortunately. That's going to be LaRocque, who finishes in 23rd place. Excellent to see. And then that will work things out nicely between them. That's actually for 22nd place, apologies. Finally, the results for race 2, but I think before that we should keep an eye out for our move of the race. And I didn't see anyone arguing against my pick of Maya Dionaran's first lap. The race didn't end up working out for him very well, but that first lap surely would have been something to see, Zippy.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a replay of that if we could gear it up. Certainly, honestly, I get so involved in the racing, I completely forget about the move of the race. Certainly, you could ask 5 people and get 5 different answers, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm going to trust the judgment here of my comrade, as I do see we getting a couple of drivers starting to appear in the interview booth as well. We'll get to them very, very shortly. Meanwhile, while Christian gets that replay ready, I'll just catch up with the chat here, and yeah, Luke Ryder, we will indeed be back next week. If you mean Jay Kens, I'm pretty sure he'll be back. He's without a doubt Pit Road Productions' #1 fan. We've also got, yeah, he's right, he has most of the PRP shows. We've also had a couple of people here in the chat as well. Ricky, good to have you on board. Absolutely fantastic stuff. But again, friendly reminder, please make sure you like and share this and subscribe, especially share it with your family, ladies and gentlemen. That is the beauty of social media. You can do more than just annoy them in person. If you're like me, you can annoy them online as well.
Yeah, surely. Well, now we'll go through the results and then we'll have a look at our move of the race. Racine Fazui by 5 seconds over Clay Morris. Alex Ellis rounding out your podium there. Marshall Crocker gaining a couple of positions for free in the last couple of laps there with the unfortunate contact of Asad Nakardambev. Christian Muniz will round out your top 5 in the end. Rich Hibbs finishes 6th ahead of Jarrett Dunkovic, and Jesse Lambert and Sebastian Day about 5 seconds apart. That's your AM top 2, with Brady Clapham rounding out your top 10 at the end.
Yeah, definitely an interesting field indeed. As Jacob Patar, he takes P11 overall with Diego Zuccarelli in 12th. Asad Nakardambev, definitely unfortunate at the end of that race. We feel for him. A learning experience indeed. He took 13th with Joey Haynes in 14th. Maya Dionaran, we'll have to see a little bit of his first lap very shortly. He was 15th with Wyatt Cormier in 16th. Cedric O'Hyan, the Lima Racing leader, taking 17th with John Benvalid, teammate as well. They're in 18th. Mark Boyd, they call him Bubba. They're in 19th with Keenan Blades, rounding out your top 20.
21st place was Matthew Crimmy with Jean-Francois Larocque beating Cara Dudgeon to the line at the end for 22nd. Robert Covey, the last finisher on the lead lap, and then we had a lot of drivers who had races they would have wanted a little bit better from. Broomhead, Armand, Sutherland, Picazin, Payson, and Declan Dionaran all a lap down. They are joined by Kenton Young, who unfortunately retired 4 laps from the end. Matthew Mailman did not get to the end by a long shot, and Ovidio Milos did not take to the start, apparently. Neither did Mauricio Parada. So in the end, 32 cars getting to the start of race 2, and a couple less making their way to the end. Here's the move of the race here with Maya Dionaran. We're going going to keep an eye very closely here on the 244 Zippy because, man, what a start he had. The green flag flew and he was immediately on the move.
Yeah, definitely that reaction time was beneficial. Not only that, he was able to get there on the inside line. You see they're making a move there past Rich Hibbs and his brother there on the outside. A little bit of contact there. That was interesting. I'm trying to think who exactly went off. And I believe it might have been Zuccarelli, but don't quote me on that. Indeed, definitely a good couple of moves there again on the inside. Makes his way past that white car. I believe the 71 and D77. I can't read it very clearly. Indeed, the 111 perhaps. Pick a number, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly your eyesight may be better than mine. Get spaced out a little bit from the pack. Well, I've got to say, opening first couple of laps there. Marshall Crocker Jr. ahead. A freebie from the left as well. Absolutely fantastic stuff, and able to get back into single file quite quickly as well. Side by side is a lot of fun, but it does indeed cost a bit of time there. There's Jared Junkovic as well, another freebie, and indeed right in the draft here. Marshall Crocker Jr. looking to try and make a slim shot down as they make their way towards the chicane.
Very late on the brakes and a little bump there on the way in, but that's all fair in the braking zone. And, well, Maya Dionaran set himself up for a great first half of race 2 from this particular set of moves. You know, surviving lap 1 is key in these leagues, and if you're able to make up positions, even better. Maya Dionaran carrying a ton of pace. He did run wide at the final corner, but ultimately, about 14 positions gained on the first lap alone there from Meyer. It's a shame that he got his penalty in the pit. It would have been interesting to see what he did from here.
Yeah, definitely a potent racer indeed. But ladies and gentlemen, we are at that part of the show where we start to get the interviews underway. And I've got to say, no stranger talking to this man. Ladies and gentlemen, driver of the number 58 and indeed one of the Lehman Racing Pro members. It's Rasim Fazui. Absolute dominance today, Rasim. Certainly Donington Park, one of my personal favourites. How about yourself? Have you got much experience here at this venue?
BMW GTE Fix. I beat the, what's their name? The Van der Zender brothers when it was COVID. Yeah, so I like this track. Is that their name? No, there's two brothers that do. Anyways, two BMW guys, legends, real life BMW drivers. 2020 BMW GTE Fixed M8, the good old days. Yeah, so I like this track a lot.
Well, fair play. I must commend you for having such fantastic taste, and I suppose I should commend you for your outright skill as well, but the taste is going to be more what I can compete with on this occasion. But Rasim, certainly we did wonder if fuel strategy was going to come into play here, and indeed leaving it quite late to come into the pits. What made you choose the later pit strategy rather than coming in for an undercut?
The pit box here compared to Monza, the delta is only 30 seconds. Monza, it's a longer pit box. You have to put more fuel. And it's a longer track, so you can fall into a gap. It's only 30 seconds. When I did the sprint, I checked towards the other end of the race because that's about the fuel tank and a little bit less. And there was a lot of people like 30 seconds behind. So I was like, nope, can't do that. So I need to be like the last one boxing. And I executed it perfect. No, not perfectly. I almost lost the whole race in turn 6, I think it's called, or turn 5, or turn 3, whatever. No, turn 4. We'll get it right. Yeah, just don't fuel save in high speed corners, because if you miss your braking point, you kind of go off. I had to learn this today.
Well, certainly it was a lesson well learned, Rasim, but I do have to wonder as well, you being quite local, I say local, I think you're out in Montreal, certainly you're in Canada. We'll give you that much credit. Are we going to be seeing you over at the Victoria Day Speed Fest at Mosport?
You mean in person?
Yes, sir. Damn
Yes.
I am.
I have to check. Yes. We will. Yes. If FEL is there, I'm here. And if IMSA is there, I'm here. That's where I'm gonna be at this year. If you're looking for me in real life, I'm either with Michelin Pilot Challenge. Shout out to VPX with the Porsche GT4. We just did Daytona, had a pretty good weekend. Qualified P2, finished P7. Our first event, our first American event on the Michelins. So that was pretty cool. And then another year with Lima. Shout out to the Lima boys. We got some stuff on the way that I can't really unveil right now, but you'll see it on Instagram or on the pages, Lima Racing, and stay tuned.
Well, that's now confirmed that Cedric's going to get a message from me in his inbox straight after this broadcast. I may not even wait till then. Certainly, fill me in, Cedric. Fill me in. But certainly, I'm looking forward to seeing you over there at Mosport. And ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to see this guy who is absolutely blisteringly fast and just short of 8,000 I rating, by all means, you need to be there at Mosport. But certainly, Rasim, an absolute pleasure to have you back in the booth again. And before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to shout out for today's performance?
Yeah, my family, my girlfriend, my dog. I got the order right this time. I want to thank you guys, Pit Road Production. I want to thank Michael Boomhead. I want to thank FBL. I want to thank BiS. I want to thank Lima, of course, the boys. I want to thank VPX for allowing me to do this. And last but not least, but that's the most important thank you of tonight. Both Cedric and especially Advanced Sim Racing, who saved me because I had power supply issues with the SimiCube. My SimiCube is 6 years old, so it's not a SimiCube problem; it's a me problem. Okay, I did some stuff with the power supplies, whatever. But all in all, to say, they were here for me as always. One of the best customer support in sim racing. It helps that I'm in Montreal, but I've never heard people at least give bad feedback from Advanced Sim Racing. So shout out to them, because without them, I couldn't have raced tonight.
Certainly, definitely got to have the gear. And don't get me wrong, Rasim Fasui not just got the gear, he's got the skill as well. Congratulations there, feature race winner and sprint race winner. Put your hands together for the driver of the 58, the Lima Racing Pro, Mr. Rasim Fasui, your race winner.
Thank you, everyone.
Excellent stuff from Rasim Fazui today. It's an incredible championship run that he is having at the moment. We also see Sebastian Day and Jesse Lambert up there. I reckon we should bring Sebastian in for a chat. It's been another successful day for you, Sebastian, especially in race 2, getting yourself into the top 10. It's a solid points day for you.
Yeah, I think so. It was just kind of a rough going there in the first race, that's for sure. Kind of just didn't expect the tires to be so slippery on lap 1 and went flying off. So it's part of racing, and kind of made up what I could, and then it was good there in the final race there. Got a great start, jumped on the start, and made up like probably 5 positions before turn 1, so that was great. Overall, not bad.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it's a difficult circuit to race closely at on the first lap. There's a lot of fast corners, and you can really take advantage of the Radicals' downforce here. But battling was quite difficult in some of those braking zones, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of hard to not look up the fronts here. That's the main thing. You're a lot of braking zones that are kind of angled, and you can only really pass in 1 or 2 places, and that being both hairpins. So you kind of just gotta stay behind for the whole lap and hope you can make it in the hairpin.
Well, it looks like things should be a little more straightforward next round at Interlagos. Still plenty of slipstream opportunities there. How do you think it's going to go there? Only 2 rounds remaining, and so it's crunch time for the championships.
Yeah, championship's really close. I'm more familiar with Brazil than here. I haven't ever done this track before, so looking a bit more forward to Brazil than this one.
All right. Well, congratulations on your run up through the field in race 2, Sebastian. Though race 1 didn't quite work out to be the huge drive there. Regardless, still a good points day for you. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Sebastian Day there. And Zippy, I understand you've had a chance to catch up with Clay Morris, who finished second in both races today.
Well, certainly a good result for you, Clay, and without a doubt, you are putting yourself wheel to wheel with some of the top drivers here in BiS, and indeed, potentially an even bigger scale of that as well. Most of them real-world race drivers as well. Yourself, I understand correctly, you are an engineer, but fair play, definitely capable behind the wheel. How did it feel going against such tough competition?
It was really good racing all night. I was just a couple steps behind Rasim the whole time, but kept a clean race and got good finishing positions off it, so I'm happy.
Well, definitely a tidy result indeed, but certainly Donington Park, not one of the tracks we see regularly here on the on Pit Road Productions. Indeed, one of my personal favourites. Not that means it's going to happen more often, but certainly yourself, how did you feel about this particular venue?
It's a really tough track. It just feels like there's never quite as much grip as you want there to be, especially in the final 2 chicanes. But learning how to manage, especially the rear tires, through that last half of the lap is really enjoyable to me, so I had a good time.
Well, definitely a pleasure to watch, indeed, a pleasure to talk to the driver of the number 48, Mr. Clay Morris. But certainly, Clay, we do have quite a few different teams here in the BIS Radical, the BIS RCC Winter Series with FEL Motorsports and indeed Lima Racing as well. But yourself being more of a solo entry, are you finding that has been a little bit of a disadvantage at times? Would you appreciate the camaraderie of a teammate?
I've been kind of jumping around racing with a bunch of different people in practices, so I've not been alone by any means. Just in name, I'm alone, I think. So no disadvantage from that.
Well, definitely good to see that Clay Morris is indeed having a good time. But Clay, before we let you go, is there anybody else you'd like to shout out for today's phenomenal performance?
I just got a shout out to you guys and to Mike as always for putting on such a good show, and to Robert Burgess with Radical Canada and Wear Tools for helping put the entry together and letting me race this series.
I've got to admit, I've seen some of the pictures of that Wear Tools, and yeah, I'd definitely try some of that gear. Indeed, it looks like quality gear. I've heard a lot of good reviews about it as well. And honestly, the biggest thing I like about Wear Tools is they color code it. It's all different colors. It makes it so much easier. Like if you take a socket, for example, I can't read the writing after you've used it for a couple of years, but you give me a color, I can see that. It's quick, it's efficient. So, ladies and gentlemen, as somebody who's had experience working on tools and tries to avoid it now at all costs, yeah, I'm going to agree with Clay Morris. Shout out to Wear Tools.
Thank you, Reese. Or
Oh,
Daniel,
indeed.
even. I mixed you up.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was
Thank
going
you,
to say,
Zippy.
I was trying to think. Thanks, pal. Well, that wasn't awkward. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to congratulate Alex. I'm sorry, Clay Morris on his interview.
Same person. Thank you, Zippy.
Oh, dear, good times. Reese, who have you managed to catch up with next, sir?
Well, I mean, we do see that Maya Dionaran is in there as well. It was a difficult round for you, Maya, but the run up there in the start of race 2 was our personal highlight of the day. Unfortunately, the pit lane at Donington Park has a couple of subtleties that can catch you out.
Yeah, no, the start was absolutely incredible. I mean, I think I went from 19th to 4th at the start, and that's one of the things that I really worked on and perfecting my craft with, just kind of trying to think about where the other cars are going to go. Obviously, there was a crash in front of me, and I kind of knew that that car was going to go right just by the way it was kind of moving. So I just went straight through it. I kept my foot to the floor, and then I ended up getting a couple more positions throughout the laps by avoiding crashes and going pretty late on the brakes. And then I had a pretty good first half of the race. I was catching Alex Ellis and Christian Moniz for about 5 laps there. And then I came into the pit lane and I got a perfect stop. I think I caught on Alex a little bit. But then as I went to hit the gas, I realized that the pit limiter wasn't on, and I think I was 5 kilometers or something like that over the pit speed limit and ended up getting a penalty. And then I think that dropped me down to 20th again, but then we made it all the way back up to 15th, which is pretty good. I mean, it was a rough round, but I'm looking to come back stronger for next week.
Yeah, Interlagos, the next round of the championship, plenty of opportunities to outbreak through there. And again, though, it's a pit lane that can be quite difficult at the best of times. So I'm sure you're going to be right on it with practice for the next event, Maya. What's your target for the final 2 rounds of the championship?
Well, the goal is obviously to win, right? Winning, if you're not first, you're last. So my goal is to win, but the main thing for me is to continue building my craft on the sim. I haven't done too much stuff on the sim. I think I've really only been on iRacing for about 2 years and really started getting into a lot of these leagues just in the past couple months. So I'm just trying to really build my I-rating up and get some good racecraft with a lot of the good drivers in the series, like Racine, Alex, Christian Moniz. I know all those guys got, I think, 5,000 or 6,000 I-ratings. So racing with them is absolutely incredible, and I'm hoping to just keep doing that for the rest of the 2 rounds.
Excellent stuff, Maya. A big thanks to you for joining us. Hopefully, the final 2 rounds of the season see you making those appearances in the top 10 again.
Yes, hopefully. Thank you very much for having me.
That's Maya Diona in there. Not getting into the top 10 in either race today, but certainly had the pace to do so. And Zippy, it looks like that's all the drivers that we're going to be able to chat to here at the end of this broadcast. Another fantastic round of the Radical Cup Canada Winter Series. I'm really looking forward to those final 2 rounds. We've only got a month left of racing in this series.
Indeed, the end is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly looking forward to seeing who emerges here as the championship leader. Certainly, Racine Bazui, absolutely, he's almost unstoppable at this point. We're going to have to see exactly how the points work out. But I have a feeling we're going to see a bit more of the battling there in the AM class and indeed in the team's championship as well. A huge thank you again to Lima Racing for providing the equipment to help us do that, and indeed to FEL Motorsports for coming on board as well. Certainly couldn't do it without you guys, and incredibly as well, some of these drivers bringing their real world sponsors, indeed shouting them out as well. Fantastic. By all means, guys, do it. They're sponsoring you. You should give them a shout out. I mean, they're looking after you, right? But I got to say, absolutely phenomenal stuff there, phenomenal racing, and indeed that's something I look forward to every season, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, what are we, the 3rd season now, Reese? It's been a while.
Yeah. It has been.
Yeah, 3 seasons now, and I don't think we originally had a Pro and Am class either. It was just one class as well. Actually, where I started with BiS was in the Radicals, and then we got the 1600s, and then first show I ever commentated was 1600s. And look where we are now, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that, but certainly you've been watching Pit Road Productions. Unless you got any more thoughts, Reese, I'll do the honors.
No, I've got nothing else to say other than F1600s back next week for their last couple of rounds, and we've also got the Canadian F1200 Championship on Friday nights, I believe. So that's going to be a really interesting one too. Last 2 rounds of that championship happening this month as well. BiS incredibly active, so stay tuned to Pit Road Productions. We're going to be broadcasting every single one of them.
Certainly, I've seen, very few leagues offer a sim to reality experience. Well, ladies and gentlemen, BiS has got 3 of them, and not just that. I suppose if you, it's not just 3 really, is it? I suppose it's 7 opportunities because you got Pro and Am in Radicals, you got Pro and Am in 1600s, you got Pro and Am in 1200s. There's also in the 1200s there is a ballot draw as well. So that's 7 opportunities to get behind the wheel of a real race car, and that's exclusive on Pit Road Productions as well, which is exactly who you've been watching. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the production booth, the one and only on my right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Reese Gardner, and behind the production controls, you'll see him racing in the F1200s, ladies and gentlemen, at least giving it his best effort, Mr. Christian Hill. Thank you very much for watching here on Pit Road Productions, or indeed on FEL Motorsports. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and do oh my gosh, you can cut that way, and then by all means, share it around on your social media as well. We're so close to hitting 1,000 subs, and I'll make the joke again. Reese, you know exactly what's coming. Valentine's Day is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. We don't expect flowers, but if we can hit 1,000 subs, I'll be very much at peace with that. Thank you very much for watching. Good night.